Chief Bioku Rahaman, Jimoh of Kishiland, and currently the President of Kishi Progressive Union Worldwide. As a former chairman of MAN, Kwara branch, I'm currently a national member of the Council of the MAN. I think having had close to 20 years experience in manufacturing, I think I should be able to tell what problems there are as far as manufacturing is concerned in Nigeria. First and foremost, the present government, when it came on board, did what we call double-edged sword by immediately removing subsidy and at the same time floating put manufacturer to the end. Is the subsidy removal very much desired because there are quite a lot of scams going on in the subsidy regime. But at the same time, floating naira, it's the major issue that we are battling with today. I'm able to say that the current exchange rate is artificial because the real theater of the economy is not really benefiting from the exchange rate. Most of the demand for forex are really illicit. They are not proper. Somebody gets naira from whatever source, you can't put in a bank, you can just go and change at any price and put it somewhere. So this is pushing a lot of pressure on dollar. And bear in mind that the dollar revenue coming from government is not that much again. Then we have a problem of balancing the equation. You see, government does not really the Nigerian government cannot really control dollar and by extension floating dollar because the domestic production is too low. We should have looked at what causes the export. In those days, we have so many companies who were exporting from Nigeria. The Dunlop of the world, so many companies, Volkswagen, Peugeot, and the rest. But today those ones are not there again. Now you recall again that a lot of multinationals are leaving this country because the environment is turning hostile to them. So what do we do? First, government has to encourage local production, at least to substitute for what we import. Today, Nigeria is predominantly a consuming nation. We import almost everything we produce, we consume, we import. So government should encourage manufacturers by one, ensuring there is adequate security. Thank God this government is doing well. Bear in mind that there are issues here and there, at least compared to where we're coming from. This government is doing well in terms of security. But there's a need to do more because a lot of foreigners, when you say come to Nigeria, they want to run out. So government will need to do more because there are still a lot of issues regarding security. Now, the other area is what we call multiple taxation. By multiple taxation, we mean the same articles are being taxed from different angles. As a manufacturer, if I pay VAT on a particular item, at the same time I'm still going to pay CIT. Now, there are so many agencies that will now come again to me to collect money. Talk of Ministry will collect money, Kwara state government will collect money, local government will collect money. As the count, at the last count, there are about 32 unnecessary taxations that we pay. So this is a lot of discouragement. If not because some of us have interest in manufacturing, we will just simply pull out. If I'm doing buying and selling, I will only pay probably CIT and probably personal income tax. Other things won't concern me. So the new tax law that is being proposed, yes, it's going to address this issue of multiple taxation. But again, that should be a discussion for another day. There are issues in that new taxation. The new trend in the world is a reduction in percentage charge, CIT. I know very well that countries like South Africa, Egypt, and the rest have reduced drastically not only their VAT, but amount chargeable as company income tax. This is to encourage people to invest in their country. This is to encourage investors to plow back what they must have earned instead of giving the whole thing to government. What government needs to do is to increase the tax level, which is what this government is doing now. Instead of concentrating on a few people who pay tax, there's a need to widen the net so that all companies can now be brought into the tax net. So there's a need for government to do a lot of things. You see, there's this issue of African CFTA that people are taking up. When that one takes off, Africa become a single market. And when Africa become a single market, it's going to be difficult for Nigerian companies to compete because the environment here is not as conducive as what they have in Egypt, Algeria, and South Africa. And mark you, what it means is that companies that is producing similar thing in Nigeria and companies that are producing cognate products in South Africa will have to compete in one single market. The whole Africa becomes one single market. So if South Africa is producing at a much cheaper cost input, and Nigeria is producing at a much higher cost input, we will have issues. So these are areas I think the government should look at. Then we talk of electricity. It's another major issue. Recently, there are classifications into Band A, Band B, Band C. I know before I left office as man chairman, we have a lot of issues, court cases and things like that, which is still hanging up to today. Classification into Band A that puts so many companies into paying so heavy electricity is really discouraging. I think there's a need for government to look into this. Of money to run companies. That is fun. But thank God we have a standard organization of Nigeria. But again, you see, in developed climes, government assists people to get loans with easy conditions. The conditions attached to some of these loans are too stiff for us to meet. For instance, if you want to collect loan from standard organization of Nigeria, you need a commercial bank to secure the loan. The collateral facility that you bring forward will manage the commercial bank. So what is the difference between that and commercial bank? What's different? One would have loved a situation where there will be a different thing, the commercial will not be involved. Government will more or less do it in such a way that you want to assist people who are in the critical area of production. So, for instance, people who are doing farming, some people need just like 2, 3 million, 5 million to do farming, and they will make a lot of money. But this is not farming. So, thank God, government really put forward 75 billion naira loan for local manufacturers recently. But again, like I said, it's very difficult to access that loan. Up to today, in the whole of Kwara that I know, and even nationwide, very few people have got it. Maybe 1 or 2. And there are so many companies that will need it. You see, this money has been in that vault for quite a long time, and it's difficult to access it. Suppose so many people are able to access that. Can you see? If I can access that, can you see what expansion I can do? With just about 2-3 billion loan, will assist me a lot. So these are the areas that, then again, the interest chargeable on loan is too high. You see, I keep telling bankers when they come here, what they do here is not banking. What they do is trading. Because in developed climes, other areas, other countries, they don't look for money as the bankers go about looking for money. In fact, most banks in Nigeria rely heavily on depositors' funds. If all depositors decide to remove their money from bank today, all the banks will collapse. It's not supposed to be. Banking should be seen as an investment where shareholders bring their own money to trade. not rely heavily on depositors' funds. So what they do is they collect deposit from depositors, loan it out, and recycle it. Now, look at the interest they charge. The highest in the world. Today, if you borrow money from bank, you pay nothing less than 35%. I don't know who can survive.
It's too much.
And that is why when they come to me and say, sorry, let me stay JJ. You can't do it unless you have a legal means of surviving. There's no way you can make it. There's no way. 35%
is too much.
So that is the issue.
It's not supposed to.
Whereas in Egypt, in fact, there are industrial loans in Egypt that is as low as 2.5%. In South Africa, 2%. Even in India and China, go to all those. Industrial loans are far below 5%. But here, 35%. Even back on those that we say in single digit, it's taking the last number in the digit, which is 9.
That is
in the digit. I think 9. So you can see it's really not encouraging. I think there's a need for government to look into this area. You see, if we produce more, at least to satisfy local production, I think we can benefit from it. Lastly, government should take a pragmatic step in stopping some of the products that we are already producing. Let me explain myself.
okay, sir.
There are some products that Nigerian can produce sufficient quantity of it for local consumption. Government should stop importation of this. Or, in the alternative, put what we call trade restrictions by imposing high tariff on those. This government is doing in some areas, but I think they need to do more. So that will encourage local manufacturers to produce more and sell and circulate. Because, frankly speaking, the cost of producing a unit of a product in China, India, and the rest is far lower compared to what the cost of production in Nigeria. Let me give you an instance. One of my products, I sell that product 1,400 naira. But imported derivatives are sold 900 naira. And there's no way I can do it that I will sell it below 1,400. But other imported are sold 950, 900. So, but at times, some of them are winning, some of them are probably substandard anyway. But at the same time, if there are trade restrictions on those areas, local manufacturers. So, we say this in all honesty, that government should play a lot of role. We see multiple regulations. Most of the agencies see themselves as if they are helping you when they come to your place. Today, Kwara will come. Tomorrow, Nesra will come, asking for the same thing. And Nesra will say, no, our agency is different. Our contractor are different from that of Kwara. You look for a contractor for Kwara, look for another contractor for Nesra. See, these are multiple regulations that are killing this country. Nigeria is a very big country, and that is why the world over, nobody wants to talk about Nigeria because of population advantage. Nigeria is so, if there's any issue in Nigeria, the whole world feels it. So that area should be tapped. Local manufacturing should be encouraged by government. Thank you very much. We have issues with youth, partly fault from the parents, majorly from the government. Let me explain myself. Before, when we were doing from 1, 2, 3, up to 5, we didn't have this problem. And you knew very well that time that if you wrote WAEC, maybe out of 100, maybe 40% pass. You have enough qualification for the pass. At a point, 6334 system of education was introduced, meaning that when you use the 4-6 primary school, you do now just 1 to 3. For those that are brilliant, they are supposed to proceed to SS class and complete. For those that are less gifted, they are supposed to be trained on technical work so that they can do a lot of technical work. But that system is perfect if it was followed. recall that that time, Nigeria government bought quite a lot of technical equipment into every local government. Those things are not existing today.
Yes.
Can't see any of them. Now, because there's nothing to train people who are less gifted in terms of brain, everybody now moves to SS1, SS2, SS3. When you get SS3, you want to pass at all costs. The parent, most of these unscrupulous parents want their children to pass at all costs. And that is why you now have JAM Special Center, WAEC Special Center, and things like that. And that is the basis of it. A lot of graduates are not employable. I must confess. Because when we want to screen here, there was a time I was screening here to engage some graduates as chemical analysts and then microbiologists. Can you imagine somebody coming here with second class upper degree and will not tell me the pH of water?
How does it?
Able to make good grades.
Very flat.
He has not seen what we call saboroid broth at all. It is that bad.
How does it get this?
So, if you come to me 20 out of 20, I can only employ 2. The rest are not employable. If they go to another company, the same thing will happen.
Yeah.
Now, what happened? They must survive. Age is going. Maybe when they come for interview, maybe 25. By the time they get to 30, they must find means of surviving.
Yes.
Mark you, the education is not sound. They don't have any technical knowledge. They don't want to do menial job because they claim they are graduates. Then tell me, what will they do?
They go into crime.
They have to take to crimes. That's why they take to crime. So many of them become easy recruits into crime. So you see this one is armed robbery, you see it's a graduate. Some of them will see polished English. A lot of vices that is going on.
Yes.
And consequence upon that, for them to complete crime, they have to hook themselves on drugs. Because you cannot just, it's not easy to just kill somebody.
Yes.
No, it's not easy.
It's true.
As a human being, it's not easy. You have to hook yourself on drugs so that this eye is blind. You can't see anything.
Yes.
By and large, multiply effect in society. Some that were not taking drug again, because he see his peer friend taking the drug, he takes it to the drug. And on and on today. And you can see the way it is today. You imagine how many people are taking India hemp today in this country. Youth. You now wonder what will happen to their own children. What will happen to their own children? Who is going to be our own grandchildren? What will happen to their children if the parents are this way? So immediate generation, they are like this. What will happen to the next generation? It's better imagined. So I think government will really need to sit up. Let's have technical. That's why I love Governor Bioraj here for this technical. Right from the era of the former governor. This technical education, vocational education. I think that is a good one. Let it be duplicated again. Every local government, let's have what we call technical education. It is what is sustaining developed economy today. Technical knowledge. So our curriculum should be completely overhauled so that we can bring back that technical area. From GSS3, we move to technical college, train on carpentry, train on basing. Oh, there are a lot of things they do. So I think that's an encouragement to government. For the youth, well, we found ourselves in this situation, but there's a need for youth to retrace their step. Because most youth, they just see people riding big car. They don't know how they came about that car, and they want to have that car as short as soon as possible. Of course, there's no way that you have to jump queue, or you have to take the lift or whatever to be able to meet up.
Yes.
Otherwise, there's no way you can start work today and the next 1-2 years, we're already bully out, already have big jeep and things like that.
It's not possible.
And that's why you now have Yahoo people. They want to be rich at all costs. You see people taking to crimes, 18 years, 19 years, taking hands and head of human beings to go and do rituals. But they want to get rich quick. So our advice to youth is to retrace their step. Let them know that there's no Ogun anywhere. It's all lies.
They are hard working.
Work hard. You see, what I do to people who are blessed with is I grade you along the line. If you don't merit, I bring you back. If you don't merit the level you are, I bring you back until you are able to get your satisfaction. So I think parents should sit down. We should know that the more the problem we create for this world, the more the problem we will have when we grow old. Because some people call it because when you grow old and you see your children or grandchildren doing bad,